Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. So in this makeup tutorial I did the red lips, the wing liner. It's just a very classic look. So let's get started. So starting off with my rose water before applying my serum and my moisturizer. So I took the Philosophy Take a Deep Breath moisturizer as always. And right after that, moving on to the eyes, I took MAC's Painterly Paint Pot with a little brush. And I'm just going to be applying that all over my eyelids to prep for eyeshadow. So now for shadows, I'm taking my newest addition, my newest palette, the Morphe 35R palette. And I'm going to be taking that Morphe blending brush, and I'm going to be applying that light medium, like a brown shade, in my crease as a transition color. Blending that back and forth in my crease, making sure everything is nice and blended. And I went back in with the Morphe M441 blending brush just to make sure the edges were nice and blended. So with that same brush, I'm taking those two chocolatey brown colors that are in the corner of the palette, and I'm going to be focusing that on the outer corners of my eyes. And the same color I applied all over my eyelids to set the primer. I'm going to be focusing that on my lids a little bit more concentrated. And going back in with the first color I used, I'm just going to be making sure everything is nice and blended again. Now moving on to my wings, I'm taking my NYC liquid eyeliner and I'm going to be applying my usual wings, my cat eye. So I kind of like to map out both of them to make sure they're kind of even, and I move back to one and I just bring it back in and I fill it in. And now just taking a clean makeup wipe to clean the liner. I mean, this is personal preference, but I like to clean it with the wipe, and then after my foundation, when I'm going to go in with concealer, I clean it again with the little flat brush, which I'm doing here. It's just personal preference, but I like how it looks very clean and defined. And for this, I'm using my damp Real Technique sponge. And after that, I'm going to go in with the Rimmel Stay Matte powder and set my eyes real quick so they do not crease. And taking a larger City Color brush, I'm just going to be applying that all over my face. And now moving on to powder contour, I took the Hoola bronzer by Benefit with the little brush it comes with. I'm just going to be applying that on the jawline, nose, cheekbones, and my hairline. And after that, I go in with the Milani 05 in the color Soleil with a stipple brush by Morphe. I actually have the number here. It's the M404 brush, and I just like to apply that right on top of the Hoola bronzer. And moving back to the brush I use for my powder, I'm just going to be giving that a quick blend. And today I decided to put my highlight on before my blush, so I used the Becca Champagne Pop. But I didn't really like this step because after I did it, I felt the need to apply a little bit more. So, I don't know. Extra steps, I guess. But for blush, I took my Morphe 9B blush palette and I took that middle color. And after I had applied my blush color, I went back in with the same highlight and I just reapplied it. That's what I mean, that I did like an extra step. Anyways, moving on to baking my face, I'm going to be taking my Airspun translucent powder with the same Real Technique sponge. And I'm just going to be chiseling out my cheekbones and on the sides of my nose to make sure the contour is nice and neat. And then I'm going to be moving on to the eyes real quick with the same three colors I used on my crease. And I kind of like to pinch the brush a little bit because I didn't find like a smaller brush I needed. So I was just kind of pinching it so it was a little bit closer to my lash line. And now I'm just going to be dusting off all the powder with a little brush. I don't like to leave it sitting there for a long time because since I'm dry, it kind of gets like patchy. So I try to leave it on like less than 5 minutes and then I just dust it off. And moving back to the eyes, I applied a light coat of the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara to my lower lashes. And after that, I did my brows and filling them in with some powder. So for this step, I basically just go on top of my brow hair. I just like to fill in any sparse little areas I might have in my brows. After that is done, I just take the same little flat brush with some concealer just to clean up the bottom of my brow and just blend everything out. And now moving on to lips, I took my MAC red lip liner and just lined my lips with that. And then for lipstick, I used my MAC Ruby Woo lipstick. And I had forgot to add my clear brow gel, so I'm just going to be adding that right here. And after that, I went back in with my Mary Luminizer highlight and I applied that on my cheekbones, just hitting the tops of them and a little bit in my inner corners to make it pop. And that, my loves, was the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please give me a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in my next one. Bye!